Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever it is for you. For me, it's Wednesday, the 13th of September, day 567 of Vladimir Putin's obscene violence against the Ukrainian people. And yesterday there was an incident in Russia where an Airbus 320, a European plane, was forced to land because the landing gear wouldn't retract, likely because of a lack of maintenance and spare parts caused by sanctions. And this fella here, says, no, this isn't proof that sanctions work. It's proof that they don't work as they endanger people's lives. The notion of sanctions is evil as the citizens suffer, not the state. And it's a fair point. It's a good point. It's something that we have to consider. I have never been a fan of sanctions myself. I don't think that the sanctions against Iran have done anything but create a deep well of resentment against the state, against the United States and against the West, in a population of young people that otherwise would have been pro-Western. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing because not everywhere are the people empowered to correct the government. Quite the contrary. That's really never been the way that governments work. And it's certainly not the way that autocratic regimes work, where mass imprisonments, executions can be the order of the day. People live in fear. And that's true in Russia today. But what is different about Russia than the case of Iran, say, is that in a war, normally, both sides suffer from the impacts of the war. But in a full-scale invasion of a huge nation like Russia against a small neighbor like Ukraine, only one side is really suffering. The impacts of the war don't come home to the people of Russia without these sanctions. It is not the West saying to Russia, oh, keep your planes flying even though they're not safe. No, that's the people in charge in Russia who know that these planes aren't safe, who insist that they stay flying regardless, who don't give a shit about the lives of their own people. I, for one, and I certainly can't speak for everyone in the West, but I, for one, think that the people that will benefit the most when the Russian Federation tears itself apart and a new government needs to be created are the people of Russia themselves. Maybe finally the people of Russia will stand up and take responsibility for determining and charting their own future sovereignty, rather than remaining as apolitical vassals to an evil and corrupt regime that casually tosses their lives away in these imperialistic adventures in other countries, Chechnya, Georgia, Ukraine. It can't be sustained. And we must be willing to bring to bear all the powers that we have to say to the Russian oligarchs, look, you don't get the benefits of Western civilization and the benefits of international trade and the benefits of international peace if you're going to flout all those rules and try to undermine us at every turn. You don't get the benefits of civilization if you are uncivilized. And Russia in this war, this obscene war against the Ukrainian people, has demonstrated their lack of civility and civilization, not to mention common sense. So don't blame the West for this plane, It's not that I don't disagree with you about sanctions. It's not what anybody wants. But don't blame the West for this plane. Blame the people in charge in Russia, because that's who's responsible.